Hey everyone, welcome to Jojo's World.
Good morning. It is a new day.
It's a new day, we're back in prison, and we're happy to be here.
We're in solitary confinement with each other.
I'm Liam S. Smith, one of your co-hosts.
And I'm Nick Ballantyne, the other one of the co-hosts.
This is Jojo's World, our Jojo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast, and we are exhilarated to be covering Jojo's Bizarre Adventure.
Feels good.
A little anime that's having its 6th part and its 2nd batch release on Netflix merely exactly a month ago.
We are right on that bandwagon.
We have our finger on the pulse of anime Twitter.
From a month ago. It feels good.
It feels great.
It feels alive.
I feel so alive right now. Punch me in the face. Don't I fucking dare. I'll kill you.
Just before we were talking about how we would dispose of bodies, and now you want me to kill you.
Okay, this is Jojo's World, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. We're talking about Stone Ocean season episode 13, Kiss of Love and Revenge. It is the 165th episode of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure as a whole. And it covers chapters 645 through 647 of the Jojo's Bizarre Adventure manga.
It's only like 3, maybe 2
Yep,
chapters.
and that is the standard that we work with,
My
Nick.
God.
And the listeners are screaming their pants to hear us have that same exchange once again.
Do we ever get ats being like, just shut up about the chapters?
No.
Shut up about the chapters.
We're not getting a lot of ats these days.
I'm not surprised.
We're getting some.
Are they just like, Nick, what the fuck?
It's mostly just like a bit of supplementary info about something we talked about on the podcast.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Nick.
Yes.
Jojo's Bizarre Adventure.
What about it?
It's good. I like it.
I know, it's good
I'm glad
shit.
that we're on it. I see a lot of discourse on
Twitter?
on Twitter, on anime Twitter.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with
Normal Twitter?
Looney Tunes Twitter. On anime Twitter and on other nerd pop culture podcasts that I consume or tangentially see excerpts of, like Castle Super Beast.
Yeah.
Talking about how people are disappointed with the Netflix batch release model because it removes JoJo Fridays and the community hype that builds there.
Yeah.
Me, I don't really care.
You're just like, I can binge that.
I would like to see the batches released a little closer together.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
But, c'est la vie. C'est la moon.
Say la tux.
Tuxedo mask. Club penguin. Clubbing seals. Kiss from a rose. Roses, which are thrown by Tuxedo Mask. Jojo's Bizarre Adventure.
It all comes full circle.
Nick, what did you think about this episode?
I literally, once it ended...
Nick, shut up. Do we have any patrons to shout out?
No.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, that's right. I thought ahead. Yeah, so as soon as the episode ended, I was like, oh, that was it. But I was enjoying it.
It was gone so soon, and now we need to
like-
wait 9 months for the next episode.
It kind of feels that way, because like we've only got 13 episodes.
12, I think.
We've got 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And now we have to wait another like 9 months.
Well, if I remember right, we talked about this a couple of months ago. They announced DVD release dates for the 3 different batches, or Blu-ray, I suppose. And I think the 3rd one was tentatively scheduled for May next year. So presumably it would be out, I mean, at least out by then, but who knows out for how long.
Yeah, out by April. That's what I say.
Okay, we putting money on that?
I don't have any money.
Okay. Give me your money.
But I'm a fan of JoJo's.
Oh, say no more, sir. Step right this way.
Oh, I thank you. Now I'm part of the criminal JoJo's underworld.
It's Jojo's World podcast, and we're just living in it podcast.
So I thought it was a good ep. It was pretty alright. It was okay. I don't know what statements it made, but you know, yeah.
Sometimes you've just got to go to prison to kill a mobster.
And to be fair, if I was in that situation, I would have done the exact same thing.
So this episode, it's about Hermes' backstory, a reason she's in prison. It's an interesting parallel to Jolene's own backstory. Of course, she was framed for a crime she was tangentially involved in committing.
Yep.
And through use of bribery, etc., given a much harsher sentence than she probably deserved. Hermes, of course, has her antagonist get a much more lenient sentence than he deserves. But of course, no, I'm not going to do that. Not going to start ranting about the US prison system yet.
Oh boy.
And of course, had herself imprisoned deliberately to get in there and murder him.
So what you're saying is she went in the sense that Back to the Future was about finding your parents and making them like have you.
Okay, go on, thread this needle. Not entirely accurate so far, but go on.
Hermes is going to prison
to make
kill...
sure her parents have her.
Sorry, to make sure that her parents are avenged.
Well, her sister and her father.
Yes. So that they don't come back as spiteful zombies.
It is Florida. Boom. I'm serving hot takes left and right here at Jojo's World. I'm Liam the Shock Jock. Toilet flush sound.
Hey, I'm the Scrimp.
He sure is the Scrimp.
God, I wish
we love the Scrimp.
Everyone loves the Scrimp. They love the Scrimp and the Shock Jock Liam.
The listeners during the Bubblegum Crisis era have been clamouring for the return of the Scrimp.
They're like, look guys, I thought those were some pretty good takes, but where's the Scrimp?
If you didn't listen to our Bubblegum Crisis off-season exploration, check it out. You know, we talk about boomers a lot.
And some voomers, but not many.
That one's really stuck in your brain, hasn't it, Nick?
Yeah. I'm very weirded out by the concept of voomer. But to be fair, we also in this episode learn about another certain B-V dichotomy.
Do we?
Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
Oh, yes, of course. The enemy stand is, of course, named Limp Bizkit. One of the less imaginative, legally distinct name changes.
Yeah, like, after Dan of Steel, it is hard to top that.
Dan of Steel, Worse Company.
But, like, Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
They could have gone with literally anything to do with biscuits.
Yeah, you know, there's so many synonyms for biscuit. Cookie. Little treat.
Little treat.
Yeah.
Little treat biscuit. Oh, yes.
They could call it limp. Nice little treat since you've been such a good boy.
All the subs go from like yay long to this long.
Nick is holding out his arms like he just caught a fish this big.
And that's the name of the stand.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start talking about this episode and we'll get to these supplementary items as we get to them.
Sure.
And I say, of course, referring to the various tabs of research I have open on my phone.
But that's just Taskmaster episodes.
No, I closed that. We were talking about the unfortunate Taskmaster UK participant who had, I believe, Parkinson's.
And everyone who watched was like, yeah, you need to get yourself checked out there, buddy.
Literally everyone. We all know the signs to look for and we identified them.
Yep. First one, you see it and you go, yeah, it's Parkinson's.
We open in media res.
But that's impossible.
As Jolene is found by the guards of Green's Dolphin Street Prison, crouched over the unconscious body of Hermes Costello in some sort of interior graveyard.
What?
And she is summarily dragged off to what was it they called it?
It was like the maximum high ultra security solitary
house unit.
Yeah, something like that. Some insanely extra name.
I believe they just start referring it to as the punishment ward later.
Very subtle.
And they're saying like, we can't prove you did anything wrong, but you're generally disrespectful.
It's like that feels pretty bad.
And the guy who's talking looks like an off-brand Giorno Giovanna.
Wearing a Kevlar vest and be like, yeah, I got the same holes in my hair thing.
My blonde hair.
Like the weird wiggy thing.
They throw her into a hole, and she's in a pure black room with only a small sliver of light illuminating the delicious anime bread and stagnant anime coffee.
Coffee or soup?
I'm guessing coffee, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Why would they give inmates coffee?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Why would they give inmates soup?
To survive.
They got the bread for that.
Bread can't help you survive.
She crawls over, handcuffed to the... Hang on, let's unpack that.
Well, like, that's clearly just like some fucking rye or something, right?
Sure.
Like, that's not nutritionally viable.
It's carbo.
Yeah, it's carbs. It's empty carbs.
It's enough to keep you alive and not much else besides.
I don't know about that. I mean, the soup would be necessary to give you basic nutrients.
That's true.
Like
unless you
iron.
had, say, a stand that could go and pursue people and get their nutrients for you.
Ooh. Is such a thing even possible?
Well, I heard a story back in the 90s,
So Jolene approaches the food.
and it's chock full of cockroaches and centipedes.
God, I hate this.
She turns over the bread. It's like every surface of the underside of the bread is covered in bugs. And she kicks it away, the soup, coffee, whatever, and it rolls away, and cockroaches come out of the cup as well. And she's like, fuck!
So this is too relatable, given that in my house I'm like, oh, there's a lot of bugs here. How many are in my food? Yeah.
Love that for you.
Yeah, hate it. Hate it so much.
You know, I heard a statistic that I'm going to misquote here.
Yeah.
Which is something like, if you see one cockroach, odds are there are like hundreds more in the walls.
Oh, good. Oh, great. Oh, this explains the noises. Ah.
Jolene makes a noise of shock, and all of the other Jokers and Two-Faces in the punishment ward start being like, there's a woman!
I wanna be there.
Yes, I want to be there!
One of them, like, chucks some dirt or something and then is like, my shit, it's reached her face.
And this is clearly like a reference to that scene, I think it's in Silence of the Lambs, where someone like throws their cum on her face as she's going to see Hannibal.
Oh, do they?
I think that's Silence of the Lambs.
Oh.
What's her name? Clarice?
I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs.
Okay. Neither have I, but I've watched a lot of Hannibal. So I've read about Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, okay, alright. They throw cum at her?
Yeah.
Just to be like, it's on
as
her
is
face.
my understanding.
To establish dominance over the
Because there are a bunch of freaks and jokers in the psycho wing.
Yeah. There are a bunch of sexually repressed freakos.
And all these other nutbags.
We're really demonizing them now.
We sure are, yeah. I just wanted to cram as many thesaurus words in as I could.
Look, if we can demonize people that are in jail in the like literal worst possible ward because they're throwing cum onto women's faces to be like, yes, I've done it.
I mean, we can agree maybe not the best kind of people, regardless of any other extenuating circumstances.
But what if they've been framed?
And then one of them shouts, I want to bash her up next.
But what if he's been framed? You know?
So they're just hooting and hollering, saying, like, they're unseen. Someone's clearly got good aim with their shit, because there's only 2 tiny slots on their doors.
He thought about the
That's
angle.
his stand.
Shit flinger.
The chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavoured water.
What the what?
That's some album by some band.
Incredible. So then we get the most anime close-up face.
As Jolene collapses backward, but then her head snaps up and she looks resolved.
And then her eyes are glowing to the camera and being like, I must not allow my mental or physical strength to wane. I must get through this.
There is something I must accomplish in this ultra security house unit.
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. It is the little death that brings total obliteration.
Sure is. I'm always saying it. And then she, like, you know, she's flashing back to Savage Garden, flying away with Jotaro's disc, and she's resolutely cramming bug-covered bread into her mouth, being like, I must grow even stronger here.
It will contain the carbohydrates I require.
Meanwhile, Father Pucci is in a pure black prison church, lit only by a single godly ray of light, pretending to read his Bible, but actually reviewing the contents of the Jotaro Mind Disc.
It's like when you're in high school and you cut out like a dictionary to read.
Yeah, and you put
class.
your flask in there.
You put your flask in there, like, and then the teacher's like, what are you doing? It's like, nothing, just reading about words.
So you've got your Bible.
Yeah.
You open your Bible, there's a hollowed out chunk of pages with a gun in it.
Yep.
And you eject the magazine, and the magazine is a flask.
And inside that flask, cockroaches.
Lottery tickets.
You scratch off the filings of the lottery ticket and they fall onto here.
And they're cocaine.
And then you huff the cocaine.
Yeah, you famously huff cocaine.
No, you huff the cocaine. And what happens inside after the metabolism happens?
You become limitless.
And then once you become limitless, you remember the combination to your safe, which is the desk that you're sitting on in English class. Yeah. And you're like, yes.
There's my books and shit.
Yeah, and then you open up and it's like, oh, my learning materials.
Yeah. I don't need it anymore because I'm limitless now.
And they're like, why are you at school? It's like, well, you know, I'm limitless.
And that man's name was Rube Goldberg. And then he flashes back to another back in the past conversation with
Dio
in 23 years ago,
where he literally says nothing.
So Dio is he's just in shadow, swirling a glass of red wine, or is it blood?
Oh, I think it's red
We
wine.
never really established if Dio could eat.
People.
No, we definitely established that.
Oh.
If he could still eat food post-vampire.
Oh,
like, you
right.
know how in What We Do in the Shadows, like,
and
if
he
the
tries to-
vampires
yep.
take a single bite of food, they projectile vomit.
Yep.
Wah.
Yeah. And he's just like, you don't want to eat chips. It's like, why not? Just don't eat the and then he starts eating the chips and then...
But Dio's a man who enjoys the finer things in life. I could see him... And Jojo vampires being, humans who have unlocked the full capacity of their brain potential or whatever. I could still see the capacity to eat being there.
Maybe, I guess. I don't see why they would have to, but yeah.
So he's just talking about heaven.
He's literally like, what if there was a way to seek heaven?
And I remember we talked about this last time we were doing a Dio flashback with Dio and Poochie, but like, I don't love this like a retroactive motivation giving to him. Like, because he was, this being Jojo, he was loudly monologuing about his motivations while he was fighting Jotaro.
Yeah.
About how like, with vampire power and stand power, he could unstoppably dominate the world. And now he's being like, it's not,
It's not about dominance.
it's not about dominating the world. It's
Yeah.
about going to heaven.
And it's like, right, but what?
Okay, so yeah, some quotes. The heaven I'm talking about has to do with the soul, the place our soul travels to. The power of our soul must surely evolve there. I'm talking about the final form of our souls. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm talking about the final fantasy.
Attaining true happiness by obtaining heaven. So quote. But this is contingent upon obtaining heaven, by obtaining the mightiest body, having lots of money, or having dominion over others. True victory belongs to those who have seen heaven. I will do everything.
To see heaven?
Yeah, so I like this transition actually. So he's saying, he says that, then he says, I will do everything, and then we end flashback, cut to Poochie finishing his sentence in the present day to reach that end. He has truly inherited the will of
Dio.
much like a young Monkey D. Luffy, etc. One Piece people know.
So what is the end that he's trying to reach? What's
Heaven.
Yeah, but
He's
what?
trying to obtain heaven.
But like, what is it ever explained? What that heaven is?
Oh, I suppose you'll have to keep watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to find out, Nick.
No, what a shame.
The opening plays. It is the same as previously. Except slightly different shots at the end where instead of Jolene smashing down bars with her stand stone free, she hugs her father from behind.
And then gets a piggyback ride,
Yay!
which is a bit odd, but maybe they're both going to heaven.
No, you're not on the right track.
Okay, all right.
Meanwhile, Hermes exposits again about her stand, in case we forgot.
She's all like, hey, if I put a sticker on a pen, it duplicates.
pens.
And then if I relinquish the sticker,
They smash back together, but they get slightly damaged in the process.
there's a fissure that emerges, making it easier to break.
And I will use this power that I call Kiss to kill a guy.
I don't know what I expected. I really don't.
She takes this ability as her sign from God that she's meant to kill Sportsmax.
There's a lot of talking about signs from God in this part.
Yeah, well, it is
Yeah.
Florida after all.
No, of course, yeah. If anyone's from Florida, they're going to be like,
Oi.
fuck you guys do?
Hermes is watching Sportsmax from afar in the prison. He is examining a bouquet of sunflowers and roses. And she's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you so good for revenge. Oh no, he's talking to the prison chaplain, Father Pucci. I better not attack him now, or the father might be disappointed in me.
And they're all like, hey,
Can I have one of these flowers, Father Pucci?
of course you can, mate. There'd be no greater honour than you taking a flower.
And he takes it, and it's covered in maggots.
Oh, that doesn't feel good.
No.
Doesn't feel good at all.
Meanwhile, Jolene and FF, that is of course Foo Fighters, the sentient colony of plankton inhabiting the body of a dead inmate,
Yep.
doing a Seinfeld episode in the prison cafeteria line.
So someone cuts in front of Atro/FF.
Yep.
And Jolene's all like, hey, that
Yell at them.
bitch cut in front of you. You tell her off.
And FF replies, I know. For some reason, I feel like the others don't accept me here. Of course, Atro was famously unpopular.
Yep.
It's like they're looking down on me. Jolene shouts, don't cut. And then FF says, no, you can't force it. I'm doing a thing right now that's literally a thing George Costanza does in an episode of Seinfeld,
Yeah.
where I'm going to assess my impulse in any situation and do the opposite.
So, for example, Atro is craving coffee right now.
And the opposite of coffee,
Is tea.
it's not, it's hot lemonade, obviously.
The other day, I may or may not, because I know that Sprite is leaving this universe.
yes.
I may or may not have...
Listeners are so invested in our hot lemonade / Sprite ongoing plot line.
So, I may or may not have found some Sprite discarded by a staff member at an event that I was at.
So you sipped it out of the trash like a raccoon.
I did. No, so they left it there, but it just warmed up a bit, and I was like, well, I might give Sprite a go. It's a little bit warm, but whatever. Had a sip and went, lemonade this warm is already bad. Like it's already terrible.
But imagine if it was piping hot.
Just why? Just on so many, just why, Well, am I meant to put the lemonade in the oven? Is that what I'm meant to do with it?
FF pours herself a tea. She's using her non-dominant hand instead of using her left instead of her right, and she's eating rice instead of bread.
Classic. That is the exact opposite of bread.
I'm trying to change myself by doing the exact opposite, she says.
And Jolene's like, the fuck?
Meanwhile, Jolene's like, hey, so about these bullet wounds I have, they still really fucking hurt.
And FF is like, hey, look, I can't put the plankton inside you. I can only do it with me.
No, she did. She did put the plankton inside her. That's what. But it's just plugging the wound. It's not.
Oh.
It's not healing it.
Yeah, it's not healing. It's just you're not bleeding anymore.
Yeah.
But that's it. No more can
So
be done.
that's our healer for this part.
And
famously, of course, Jono did basically the same thing last season, and then before that, Josuke just reversed everyone.
Wait, then what about Jotaro?
We just shook it off.
We're all big boys.
Of course,
doing big
people
things.
will make posts about speculating about using the healing power of Hamon, but never really comes up.
No. Oh well.
Yeah, so she says, I can only fill the holes with plankton. The rest is up to your body's ability to heal. Now to the pork. What's the opposite of pork?
Is it beef?
Or chicken?
And the chef immediately is like, how dare you? The opposite of pork is salmon.
Having revealed she's been listening to them talking about plugging bullet holes with salmon the whole time, because she's conspicuously in the back of that shot.
Yep.
Pigs lie around in mud all day. Salmon swims against the current to go upstream.
And then FF is like, well, this is just fucking great.
And she's got this huge Joker grin.
And she's like, well, thank you.
I love that. The people are cutting again, and the resolution of the bit is, rather than doing what Jolene says, telling
people off. Instead,
she pulls more people into the line, and the cutters start arguing with the other cutters, leaving our protagonists to get the rest of their food undisturbed.
And they're like, well, wow, it's so much easier to get food. And everyone's just arguing except for them, and they're like, well,
I wish there were more scenes like this in...
Just absolute pandemonium?
Just little slice of lifey prison moments. 'Cause we had a few of them in the past. I don't think there are many of them in the future. And it would just be nice.
Just more slice of life prison,
Yeah.
More, classic prison. It's a little
classic
playful,
Jojo.
It's a playful
dynamics.
place, yeah.
So they ask about Jolene asks about Hermes, and Foo Fighters exposits that she's been following this guy around, and even kept following her the day that Jolene was being covered by a rain of toxic frogs in the prison courtyard.
Interesting, very interesting.
So they pay a visit and money to
Gwess,
who's like, I'll give you the information for money, mates rates. There's a good shot of Foo Fighters just leaning against the prison railing and yawning. Just a small moment. It was good.
You were very amused by it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
And they go to the library and they look up an old newspaper and find out about the drowning death of Hermes' sister, Gloria Costello.
Gloria.
6 years ago. And then we cut back to Hermes, who is still watching Sports Max, and she's been like, I've been watching you for so long. I don't know why you've been spending so much time sweeping up in the prison graveyard. And now you've taken up taxidermy in the activity room. What are you up to?
I think we'll find out soon enough, if you know what I mean.
But I won't, because I'll kill you.
Oh, fair enough.
But as she's going to go move in, Jolene and FF are there, and they give her some breakfast, and she fobs them off, essentially.
Yeah. She's like, I have a job to do.
Yeah. I'm not following a guy named Sports Max. What are you talking about?
It's like, we know you're following a guy
named Sports Max.
after the death of your sister.
Yeah, like, did you get sent here just to get revenge? And we all know yes.
Because she did that.
And Hermes says, you don't pry into other people's business in prison. And Jolene says, well, I'm doing opposites today. It's opposite day.
It's opposite day and I want to do the things. I will bet you that was the last panel of that, like that issue of the manga.
Well, there's just no way to find out.
Damn it.
We transition to Hermes's sad Jojo backstory. We get one for everyone.
Yay!
When she was young, their mother died.
Oh.
So her older sister was like, Hermes, I will be your mother now.
And she always put the family first.
Gloria is radiant. She's tall, statuesque, blonde hair, beautiful cheekbones, a ridiculous jumper.
It's a turtleneck with like...
Cable knits.
I was going to say bondage rope, but like it's all knitted, not bondage rope. Yep.
Great.
Yep.
And it's a crop top as well.
It's just madness.
It's so much going on. But
Yep.
they both, Hermes's modern outfit and Gloria's outfit are both turtlenecks. That's how you know they're sisters.
Ah.
So Hermes like became a juvenile delinquent, and her sister Gloria was like, you've got to help out at the restaurant sometimes. I want you to inherit it with me. And she's like, no, I want to go cross country and go to college on a scholarship.
As we know.
As
that
we know.
will never happen.
No. So she runs off into the night. Gloria follows, doing girly anime run, where you, like, what do? You have your hands up by your shoulders and you just rotate your torso left and right.
Is it like the fingers are slightly curled in?
Yeah.
If anyone was watching us.
But they're not.
What a shame.
And she stumbles into a gang murder as Sports Max, the man who we should describe shortly, because he also looks ridiculous,
Yep.
is curb stomping a George Costanza looking guy.
So this guy is like, please, I need help. And then Sports Mac is like, okay, well, just...
Bite that stick with your mouth, and I'm going to quote him here, not like a dog, but as a baby would do it.
Yeah.
Which I have no idea what that means.
Like, not sideways, but like that way.
Is that how babies bite things?
Yeah, like they suck on things, don't they?
I guess.
They don't eat like corn cob that way. They try to suck it down.
Babies shouldn't be eating corn cob.
Yeah, well, that's why, because they do this. If they were going sideways like a dog, that'd be great.
Or a typewriter. Famously, you eat corn like a typewriter.
There's a weird equivalence here with babies and typewriters. It's like, you're just tucking your typewriter into bed.
Or you're tucking your baby into bed, and when it reaches the end, it goes ding, and you slide it back along the other way.
And then it falls asleep, and then when it wakes up, you just hear this ding, 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 ding. It's like, baby's up. Oh, well, back
What
to
it has typed will be a window into its madness.
Wow.
So yeah, and like off screen, he curb stomps that guy's head through the post.
And Gloria's like, oh, he's a bad man.
And she gasps, and he looks over, and she hides, and Hermes monologues, I'm not interested in seeing what lies in the dark. I wouldn't report it to the authorities either. The darkness will handle those who live by it. That's the only way to keep a restaurant open in that city.
Yes.
But,
What?
like, if you get involved in the organised crime, you're going to get fucked.
Yeah, but...
Just pretend you don't see anything.
And then your restaurant will
engage.
stay open.
Yeah. But Gloria sees Hermes running off on the overpass and also sees Sports Max see her. So he's going to assume that she saw the murder, which maybe she did, maybe she didn't. We don't really know for sure. So Gloria makes the decision to call the police on Sports Max to save Hermes.
Yes.
And as a result, she is murdered.
It's just a series of events that makes perfect sense when you don't look at the bit in between the calling the police and getting murdered.
Why?
Well, how did they know it was her?
Probably just figured it out.
I take it back. I take it back. They just knew.
They just knew.
They just knew.
They just knew.
And then, what's his name? Only got 5 years.
What's his name?
Sports Max.
That's right. How could you forget?
Oh god, it was a close one.
He only got 5 years in prison for tax evasion and assault.
And Hermes is like, what the fuck?
What the? Like, she's literally yelling, what the fuck, in court.
And then basically grapples her lawyer.
I like how Sports Max goes to court in his ridiculous... Let's talk about it now.
Alright, so he has a full purple suit.
Full purple suit with, like, black, like, magatamas on it.
Magatama?
Like the half shape of the yin-yang.
Oh, no.
Or like
they look
commas.
all like apostrophes or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just something real weird.
Got some zips. He's got a big blue either turtleneck or
Like
scarf.
a scarf kind of thing, yeah. He's got a lot of eyeshadow.
He's got eyebrows that are also shaped like commas or apostrophes,
Yes?
but on their sides.
Yeah? And that it's just...
So like a big ball with a little tail coming off it.
And it's just big blonde hair, so it really stands out.
But it's kind of like shaved close with little spikes.
It's very strange.
He looks awful. An awful man.
You look at him and go, I want him dead.
Yes.
But thankfully, we can provide.
Hooray! Sports Max, if we
recall.
is a character in this show.
Going well, yep.
He's named after the Sports Max sub-brand of the Max Mara Italian fashion business.
Ooh.
It markets upmarket ready-to-wear clothing, established in 1951 by Reggio Emilia. And now 1951, that date's already setting off some alarm bells. But there is no controversies section of his Wikipedia page.
But are there any wardrobe malfunctions to speak of?
Well, I'll get to one in a moment, an extra credit one in a sec, but let's just quickly peruse the rest of this man's page and see if there's anything of interest. Oh, the trendy youth division of the company is Max & Co. I've heard of that.
Max & Co. I've also heard of that. Then what's Min & Co?
Shut up. After his death, according to his will, a large and important collection of contemporary art from Europe and America was made open to the public. That's nice.
That is nice.
But, Nick, you asked if I had any wardrobe malfunctions for you this week.
I did.
Just something that I picked up through osmosis a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is the story of the man behind Doc Marten boots.
Okay.
You're familiar with this brand of boots?
Doc Marten is like streetwear boots. Or shoes, I guess.
Yeah, it's the sort of iconic boot of the alternative girl at a music gig.
Oh, like the big,
Yeah.
like black leather.
Well, they come in a variety of colours.
Comes up to like here,
No,
kind of
lower.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
There's some low-rise shoes too.
Like that.
Yeah. But anyway, did you know...
Exposed.
Do you know
ankles.
anything about their founder?
No. Was he a doctor
He was.
named Martin?
Surname, yep. Martins.
Was his first name? I was literally about to say. Was his first name Adolf?
You're not far off.
Wait, what? Arnold?
Klaus Martins
Okay, sure. Dr. Klaus Martin.
was a doctor in the army of Nazi Germany
What?
during World War II.
What the fuck?
After he injured his ankle in 1945, he found that his standard issue army boots were too uncomfortable for his injured foot. So he devised the Dr. Marten boot.
What? What?
He designed improvements to the boots with soft leather and air-padded soles made of tyres. When the war ended and some Germans recovered valuables from their cities, Martin took leather from a cobbler's shop. With that leather, he made himself a pair of boots.
What? Oh my god. So literal ex-Nazi army soldier?
Yeah. I mean, let's be fair. By that point, basically everyone in Germany was
A conscripted.
willing or otherwise a Nazi. We don't know how much of his personal views were involved.
Oh my god. Amazing. So, wow. What a connection. That is insane.
Yep, and that's the segment that everyone loves, Wardrobe Malfaction.
God damn.
So, Sportsmax is sentenced to
5 years.
As a result of all the trauma and sadness of Gloria dying, her dad becomes sick and is presumed to pass away.
Hermes is dead.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Also Gloria's dad.
Oh.
They're sisters.
Ah.
Even though they look nothing alike.
No. So Hermes's parents are now both dead.
Yep. And her sister.
And her sister. Everyone's dead.
Except for Hermes. And Sportsmax.
And Sportsmax.
Sportsmax walks past a pipe which has a Polaroid of Gloria on it. And he stops, it catches his eye, he recognizes her. And Hermes recognizes him recognizing her. And she says, "So you do remember her."
It's like that scene from Whiplash.
Which scene from Whiplash?
Where he's like, am I rushing or am I dragging? And then he like slaps him and then he's like, am I rushing or am I just like rushing? It's like, so you do know the difference.
I haven't seen this movie, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like that, but she's all like, so you do recognize her. And then a pipe slams into him.
Yep, Hermes slams a pipe into Sportsmax. Blood goes everywhere.
Because the pencil from before
Is
was
the
the pipe. Yeah.
Quote her, "I've been waiting for you to be alone so no one can hear your screams," and she's jammed his body into an open gap in the pipe.
And he's all like, who are you and what are you doing?
She says, "I want you to know the things you made Gloria suffer through. I'll make you remember them." Her stand shows up. It also has a turtleneck.
Which is very strange.
And through use of her... I don't really understand the physics of how this works, but through use of her stand, he is now inside the pipe, and there's like a little crack that he is peeking out of.
As all contested arguments in JoJo's come down to, that's JoJo's, baby.
Yep. He's like, "Why are you doing this?"
That's JoJo's, baby.
And she says, "Oh, your sentence ends in a year, you'll have bodyguards outside, so I got myself sent to prison where you're defenseless." It's true that prison pipes are not big enough to fit a human being, but that means it fits you perfectly. As a coffin.
Ooh.
He falls deeper into the pipe, she reveals there's another sticker lower on the pipe, that when she removes it fully seals him in, and he is going to drown to death.
Yeah, so she starts opening up some valve somewhere that lets everything in.
The wastewater.
Yeah. And then she's all like, "Yeah, you die now.
You
I've won."
die now. But rather than hearing him call for help or anything,
He prays.
he prays. "Those who rise from the darkness, Limp Viscit. Come, that's right, we're leaning in. Come forth and join me.
Oh, I hate it.
We will
so much.
share joy in the darkness, Limp Viscit."
Oh.
And she sees a taxidermied crow in the activity room fall over.
So, Limp Viscit.
Limp Viscit.
So, Limp Viscit, a reference to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Known for their performance at Woodstock 99.
Are they?
Yeah, so they were they were like the band where everything went wrong.
Oh, okay.
So, I think I've told you about Woodstock 99.
I am familiar with the concept
Yeah.
of Woodstock 99.
So, like, I think they were the headline act at Woodstock 99, and when they performed, they were like, "Hey guys, we're out here, fuck the police," you know?
Hell yeah.
Like, fuck everything to do with everything, and that's when everything started going horrifically riot.
How so?
So, because you know how the lead up to that, it was all like these alt-rock bands being all like, "Yeah, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," kind of style.
Sure.
But very aggressive. So, Limp Bizkit comes out, headline act, and they're just like antagonizing everyone and everything because they're Limp Bizkit and they're not very good.
And they're in front of 200,000 people.
Exactly. And so then they're like, "Yeah, man, break down the barriers, fuck everything." And these people haven't eaten in like a day. So, because there wasn't enough food supplied. So they just started rioting and then,
Durst stated during the concert, "People are getting hurt. Don't let anybody get hurt. But I don't think you should mellow out. That's what Alanis Morissette had you motherfuckers do. If someone falls, pick them up. We already let the negative energy out, now we want to let out the positive energy." Durst later stated in an interview, "I didn't want to see anybody getting hurt." You don't see that. When you're looking out on a sea of people and the stage is 20 feet in the air and you're performing and you're feeling your music, how do they expect us to see that something bad is going on?
How? How can they expect it?
Les Claypool told the San Francisco Examiner, "Woodstock was just Durst being Durst. His attitude is no press is bad press, so he brings it on himself. He wallows in it. Still, he's a great guy."
Amazing. Amazing. Oh my god. So yeah, after Limp Bizkit...
Limp
that was it.
Bizkit was chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavoured water, who I referenced earlier.
What are you
I
talking
thought
about?
so.
What are you talking about? Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavor... What? Oh my god, it was their third studio album.
Yeah.
There you go. Holy shit.
Holy...
We're reaching the point where the references are in a time frame
Yeah,
where we were alive.
We're reaching a reference cascade soon, where they're all going to stack up on top of each other. Nick, this is the Jojo Valet commentary for the stand, Limp Bizkit. Or, if you're nasty, Limp Viscit.
Tell me more. Or should I say, tell me vor. Tell me nor?
Hirohiko Araki has this to say.
Yeah.
"I thought the effects in the movie Hollow Man were cool. When the guy turns invisible, you can see his innards. I wanted to draw people in that sort of unfamiliar form."
Huh.
You know the movie Hollow Man?
No.
This is, I think it's loosely based on The Invisible Man. Maybe, maybe not. Similar concept at any rate. But I remember the big twist is that it's an invisible murderer movie. Where the invisible creature is a gorilla.
Oh, interesting. So, it's not a man.
Well, it's a gorilla.
Okay. So it's not a man.
Arrogant scientist Sebastian Kane has developed a serum for the military that can make a subject invisible.
Ooh.
His team includes ex-girlfriend Linda McKay, Matt Kensington, Sarah, Janice, Carter, and Frank. Only 3 of these people have surnames. The team succeeds in reversing the procedure, returning an invisible gorilla to visibility. Blah, blah, blah. Gorilla gets loose, kills people.
Okay, so the whole plot is, we have this giant breakthrough in technology to make someone invisible/uninvisible. But the main plot is the gorilla got loose.
Oh no, Sebastian starts killing people.
Oh, so he turns invisible.
Seems like it.
Maybe I have seen this film. What year did it come out?
2000s, I want to say. 2000.
I think I might have actually seen snippets of this film. I don't know why I'm looking it up.
Do you remember there was a show when we would have been in late primary or early high school called, I think it must have just been called The Invisible Man. And the premise was that a guy who had a drug, I want to say it was called Quicksilver, that could turn him invisible, but it also, like, Joker-fied him for a while.
What do you mean?
Like, turned him into a psycho.
Maybe?
That show was so of its time.
I might remember something like that. It does ring a bell. The 90s were fucking weird.
Does the gorilla go mad in this? I'm not seeing a lot of gorilla madness in the...
Well, I hope it's not a horror film about a mad gorilla, is it? It's a horror film about an invisible hollow man. He's hollow because he
I thought
lacks
the hollow
ethics.
man was the gorilla.
No, it's the man, the hollow man.
The Hollow Knight. Which is a game about a gorilla fighting bugs.
But surely I'm not the Hollow Knight.
It's the sequel about gorilla madness.
None of them are about gorillas.
Okay. I'm disappointed.
For that, you have to find a movie called, like, Hollow Gorilla.
Sure.
That's about an invisible
Hollow
gorilla.
Kong.
Hollow Kong? Hollow Kong. Why is he hollow? He lacks heart.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the design of Hollow Man?
Hirohiko Araki liked it.
Yeah, but, like, what's the design of it? Isn't he invisible?
Yeah.
So he's invisible.
But, like, per the note, he liked the appearance of, like, organs being visible through transparent skin.
So he's not invisible? I don't know, man. I don't know. He doesn't sound like he's invisible.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you and use those methods we discussed to hide the body.
Shit.
A taxidermied raven falls over.
Kronk.
And, like, things are knocked off benches and lights are smashing in the ceiling. Hermes is like, what's going on? She's just standing there perfectly still.
We, as the viewer, immediately are like, I get what's happening.
She hears something moving towards her in the air and something rips her pinky finger off.
Strong.
And then, like, beak
Beak
she gets beak busted by Kazooie in the neck several times.
And she's like, oh my god, what's going on?
Cheek.
Yeah.
To quote a previous episode title, an ill omen, a beak.
Ooh. And then it goes for her carotid artery.
Well, no, first it goes up towards her eye, tearing from the last beak hole. She manages to tear it away. And then it just rips open her neck and starts, much like Dio did to Jonathan, pulling out her carotid artery.
And it tries to, like, get it out like a worm.
Yeah.
Or it's like, yeah.
So this is bad, obviously.
So she is like,
She puts a sticker on her jumper, or jacket, to give herself a new jacket, wraps the invisible bird in the jacket, and then smashes that against the wall, causing the taxidermied body of the thing in the other room to break.
And she's like, did I do
This is like some voodoo shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
This is shit from beyond the grave. This is Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. This is Woodstock 99, baby.
Look, no press, bad press.
The riots really got out of hand when the invisible crocodile showed up.
To be fair, I can see it.
Hermes shouts at the pipe for a while, like speculating if Sportsmax is in there using his stand on her. But then she's distracted because a little mouse toy in the car in the activity room is pulled out of sight, like in a shot of Jurassic Park. And there's a taxidermied alligator there, or crocodile.
Difficult to know.
Just in the prison.
Yeah. Well, obviously for, informational purposes.
Sure. And something invisible chomps up this toy car and smashes a big video game style barrel of cold.
Or cola, maybe?
Okay.
No idea.
Smashes the table, some dust flies through the air, settles on the invisible body of the crocodile, making it briefly visible.
And Hermes is like, oh.
And then she sees the dust of its footprints running at her.
And she's like, oh, I get
shit.
it. It's an invisible alligator.
Yeah, or crocodile.
It's
just
impossible
too
to
hard
know.
to tell when it's invisible.
There's no way of knowing.
So she runs and she jumps, she hangs from the pipe, and she's like, whoa. And it's the invisible tail and bulk of the thing is smashing against the pipe that Sportsmax is in. She speculates that he's trying to get free. And just as she's about to do anything, Jolene and FF are here.
Oh, they showed up.
What are you doing up there, they say.
And then FF gets her leg bitten off.
FF says, Hermes, Jolene's worried about you. I'm not.
Wait, does she actually
No,
say?
she says, Jolene is worried about you. Then she gets distracted by her leg getting torn off.
Yes.
But I just like that phrasing. Like, seems
What?
to imply, like, she's not saying we're worried about you.
It's like, oh, Jolene was worried about
Yeah.
you. Anyway, bye.
Leg is torn off. She falls to the ground. The leg is chomped up by invisible croc.
And Hermes is like, yeah! As we are to do here.
FF seems a little unfazed, considering
Well, I mean, FF can just regenerate a leg. She's like, oh, damn, my leg.
that's going to cost me so much water later.
Oh, do you know how much plankton I need for that?
She just says, damn, it got my leg.
And Jolene's like, oh my god, what was that? And Hermes is like, animal,
Sportsmax.
no time.
It's charging at you. Jolene and her stand do a big punch. For some reason, this covers it in blood.
I think because that's,
Did she fling FF's blood at it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
And it looks
is
pretty
what-
creepy.
It's harrowing.
Just a big, like, blood painting of a crocodile.
And,
It looks like the red crocodile inside the big statue of a crocodile in Banjo-Kazooie. Mr. Vile, who wants you to play a game where you eat little creatures, and whoever eats the most creatures wins.
do you win?
You do, and you get a jiggy.
Yes. Crave those jigsaw pieces.
The croc charges in, to be continued.
That's the whole app.
Yep.
That's the whole app. I was like, oh, it's over. Oh,
It's finally over.
so swift.
So, Nick.
Yep.
Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. We're back. What are our highlights for this episode?
My highlight is probably gonna have to be Hermes chucking Sportsmax into the pipe, because I was like, this is pretty hardcore. Like, pretty brutal in a prison. This about matches that brutality. And it's pretty cool just knowing that he's gonna drown. And yeah.
My highlight is FF doing the opposite. It's just like a nice little self-contained sketch. I like it.
It's so
Very
silly.
pure.
So silly. Oh.
Lowlights.
My low light is Dio explaining how to seek heaven and not saying anything for the entire
Anything
time
of
he's
substance.
on screen.
He's so enigmatic.
Yeah, but he could explain anything that he's doing. And it's like, come on, man.
He's seeking heaven, Nick. You see, when you're talking to a priest and your name is God, there's a lot of assumed knowledge on both parts.
You're like, so you can tell me anything I need? It's like, absolutely. What about this? Oh, I can't tell you that. That's something you have to come to yourself.
And my lowlight is the gross shot of Hermes's artery being yanked around by a bird.
Yes.
It's good, it's effective, it's gross, but it grosses me out.
Not a fan.
I mean, I'm not a fan, but it's a good episode.
Okay, alright.
And we can all agree that salmon is the opposite of pork.
Is it?
Sure.
Well, pigs roll around the mud, you see.
And salmon swim upstream against the flow.
So,
So, Nick,
yes. That's me.
Hermes is hanging from a pipe. Sportsmax is in a different pipe. FF lost a leg to a croc. Jolene is fighting that very same croc. Father Poochie is doing his thing.
Just
Dio,
somewhere.
he died in 1988. What will happen next time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, in the episode entitled...
Kiss from a rose?
Sure, yeah, by Seal. Seal. Kiss of Love and Revenge, Part 2.
I have a theory about what's going to happen.
Okay.
The crocodile will be defeated by them. In fact, the entire battle will just revolve around them having to see the crocodile
And then be the crocodile.
and then beat the crocodile. So, like, they'll have to find ways to, like, throw dust on it or blood.
Yeah.
Or
If we can
water.
see it, we can kill it.
Exactly. But the thing is, wasn't there some other lady who was lying on the ground that wasn't Hermes?
Yes. And a female inmate who wasn't Hermes has been beaten with a blunt object.
Yeah. So my theory is that the...
Very observant, Nick.
What can I say other than you're welcome? So my theory is that
Shut the fuck up.
the animals will force them out of this little chamber near the
Little
taxidermy
corridor.
room. Yep. And they'll run into another inmate who'll be like, hey, Jolene, watch where the fuck you're going. Bam, blunt force trauma. maybe from a dead person's ghost thing.
Ooh.
You know, like the stand dead
Yeah.
thing. Or maybe she is a zombie.
Well, because lest you forget, Jolene was in a room with graves in that one shot.
Or maybe, how close would the medic's office be? Like the morgue? Because maybe she died recently, but she died before that.
This is that other woman.
Yeah. So, like, she was dead, and then she came back via the stand power.
Like the Hollow Man.
Yes. But I reckon it's probably just more one from the grave.
Okay. And how will they deal with Sports Max?
I mean, he's probably just dead in the pipe now, isn't he?
Then how will they deal with his stand that is pursuing them? It's kind of like Notorious B.I.G., if that is the scenario.
Yeah, it is. It's very much like that. Unless it's not him who's controlling these things, and it's someone else who just so happens to be there.
I was watching from behind the corridor the whole time.
And that's the lady.
I'm Sports Minimum.
I'm
Max & Co.
I don't know. Because if it's like Notorious B.I.G., it'll just keep resurrecting things. Unless they can... unless it's like a spirit that like leaves.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we have to kill that bit. And they just punch it.
Sure,
it dies. But I'm not sure. Maybe it'll just leave and just...
Making punch ghosts the most literal it's been so far.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's my theory.
And then what is going to happen with Jolene being thrown into this punishment zone?
Well, I don't think we're going to get much this episode about that. But I reckon her plan is that if she gets sent there, she can do some digging, quite literally, from this
she's
wall.
going to, like, Shawshank Redemption her way through the wall.
Yep, exactly. Either that, or she's going
the punishment ward walls back up against Father Pucci's church.
Yeah.
I don't think they know it's him yet.
Yeah, but it might be... it might be a matter of, I need to get through this because I'm going to interrogate someone when I get out because I know certain things after the battle. That kind of thing, maybe?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'm not fully sure yet.
Okay, well, we'll find out next time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean. But until then, to be continued.